move to your chat with Jack, because you work together, and I know that there were things that you went through together, and also Jack can contribute.
Sure.
Yeah, explaining his own expertise, not only in connection with your business, but with other ones. So guys, you're welcome. Everyone else who keep joining and who already joined, thank you so much. And don't hesitate to ask questions. Please write them in the Zoom call chat that we've got here. And right after guys finish their fireside chat, we can start accepting your questions to them and forwarding them to the guys. And you can also unmute yourself in that Q&A session. I mean, not right now, and join with your questions, full video, voice, and everything, full experience. So yeah, Alex, I'm handing the
Nice.
mic to you.
Thank you. And listen, actually, I've done a couple of slides.
Oh, great. Then you can demonstrate your screen and just.
I've got inspired yesterday, so I decided to do some.
Cool, thanks. And actually, I see the screens that you have in the background, right? TV screens. You should tell the guys about them also.
Sure.
Yeah.
Will do. Can I share the?
Yeah. Do you have the rights? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So please do that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going on mute and off video, so you're the head. You're the leader now.
Yeah. 1 sec. Yeah, guys. Hi to everybody, and I will not take a lot of your time. I will fire up some of my ideas and thoughts, like the host said, to share the experience of how we started all that and what the hell are we doing in the Singapore actually. So just hold on for a sec. I will go. I will launch the slides and we will move on. Okay, let me skip this one. But anyway, just please remember that Jack is the major host of our conversation, and I will do my best to let him speak afterwards. And briefly, what is our story and who we are? My company, my startup is named Liquid, and basically we are doing the software for business TV screens. We are in the software as a service business, and we actually run the content and run the TVs where you eat, where you shop, where you exercise, where you have the medical treatment. Everywhere you see the screens, and we do the software which runs the content on those screens. So if you have the screen in your business, we will give you the platform, and you will install the app inside your TV, and you will be able to manage this content through the mobile phone, straight through the mobile phone. Actually, can you see my screen? Everything is okay? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So a couple of screens, the actual screens are on my background, and everything is working. If you do not have the screens, we just rent it to you together with the app, and it takes half an hour to set up and run your business TV screens. What is actually why do you need the business TV screens? What content you need to put inside your business? Basically, it's the menus, the schedules, the meals of the day, all the content which persuades you to buy something inside the business or to entertain you, actually. Yeah, not to, in order for you not to get bored. So this is all about Liquid. Another slide. I'm going with the schedule, which Nastya said to me, and actually I was asked to explain why Singapore, why we did incorporate it in the Singapore, and we once we've got our first investments, we incorporated the Liquid PTE Ltd company in 2020, and it was in Singapore. And the thing which we didn't know at that time, that nobody knows about Singapore. Like I was rolling around with the investor, with the partners, and everybody were asking like, what is this Singapore? Why? What is the reason? Because there was no any reason to do that. And what I didn't know at that time, that 95% of the startups, they were aiming to incorporate in the US and Europe, and this was obviously the mainstream of the startups, which actually, I don't know how is it going right now, but at that time it was 100% sure. Okay, I was trying to understand this, and a couple of years passed already, and I'm still trying to understand this and to put it into correct spelling. Why is that so? Let me summarize it to you in a few bullets. Nobody, me, my founder, my investors, nobody by that time, we've never been to Singapore before. And us and our partners, our people in our relations, everybody was thinking that it's like, it's a kind of magic city, very wealthy city, somewhere in Asia Pacific. And it has a lot of money, it has a lot of opportunities, and that's it. Like, this Emerald City, or something which you do not know. And this is a particular picture which I saw when I was searching, Googling through the Singapore. Like, this is Emerald City. Lots of stone, lots of glass, kind of magic lines staying in the center of the city. But I was trying to reach anyone who was doing the business there, who was incorporating the company, the startups there, and there was no one at the moment. My banks, the European banks, they were doing like very silly face when I was saying to them that I am going to be incorporated in the Singapore. Why we did that? Because we truly believed that our product is made for the Asian market. We thought at that time that the Asian market is the Wild West, really Wild West of the companies, the millions of companies. You see the Jack is laughing right now. So the Asia is the Wild West with the companies, with the restaurants filled with the TVs, and they all run the flash drives. The flash drives is our main competitor, actually. So we were really thinking that it's Android packed market. Android is our operating system, and this is the host of all our operations, the Android and Android TV. And we thought that straight away after we land into the Singapore, we will get like thousands of clients queuing and asking us to set up our platform inside their businesses. It was our subjective belief. Of course, we've done a lot of research. We've done a lot of research in terms of operating systems, TVs, all that stuff, all the hardware, all the software. And yes, this was true, and actually still it's true that Asian market stays the Android Wild West, but things have changed. The other reason why we did that, of course, we done the research about the cost of operations, the cost of incorporation, all that stuff. We didn't find anything unusual in those costs. It's kind of the same cost as you do it in all other countries. We thought that it's a cool thing that we do not need to come to the country for the incorporation and for the annual meetings, which you probably heard about. If you did the companies, that you have to hold annual meetings, and the Singapore said that you do not have to do it. Another thing, so the first thing why we have chosen this country is that we were in the investment process, and we had to do it in the English law, and the Singapore is 90% compatible to the all English law procedures, especially with shareholders agreement and all that stuff, which requires your cap table negotiations. And actually, this is a very secure place to hold your IP rights and to hold your cap table. And this is very clear for the ones who want to invest in you, or who wants to become the partner with you. This is very clear for them that it's secure. And the security, we thought at that moment that the security is the key to the further investment rounds. Those are all are rational reasons here, correct? I mean, product reason, legal reason, financial reason, everything was rational. But there was only one, and actually very inspiring for me, thing which happened at that time, which convinced me, like, you know, the moment is a king in this situation. When you're choosing something, you are only choosing at the moment where you're making this particular decision. And at that time, I've read the story of the guy who is the CEO of Rocket Bank, and who has started the company called Osama, and he started this company in Singapore. I've read his story, and I've seen his success and what he said about all of this, and I've got really inspired. Like, you know, this mood when you understand that this is really the right decision, apart from the background which was saying, whoa, where is this Singapore? So I've read the story, and we literally, what was he doing? He was doing the corporate services for the guys like us, for the startups. So it was the Russian guy moving to Singapore, founding the company. He got the first 3 million of investments, and he was doing the incorporation services for the startups like us. And you know, it's a perfect match, like in Tinder or something. And we filled out the form in Ostoma website, and we started the conversations with the bot, no people at all in this service. And everything, you know, everything went so smooth, with zero efforts, with zero hustle on our side. And this was the very moment when I thought that, you know, it looks like you're flying like a Silk Airlines or something, the Oriental Airlines, where from the moment when you come into the plane, everything goes very smooth, very polite, very smooth, with no hassle, with no any other reason to worry. And the same thing happened with the service. Asoma, we just got incorporated within 2 weeks. Another story is that we were doing our shareholders agreement for 3 months, but this was not connected to Osome, and that's it. like this. We have the liquid PTA company in Singapore. This is just to explain why we did this. We will have the time to discuss it, and I need to move further. And the host, they were asking also to explain what was the main, like the main benefit of incorporating in the Singapore. And when I was thinking about this question, I just found this startup curve. I think you're all familiar with this curve, and this is actually this curve represents a liquid story from the time where we incorporated the company, and we were, I would say, we were young and very enthusiastic, and some years passed, and right now we have experienced all this stuff. Like in this curve, we were experimenting with we're building the product, we were switching from the corporate B2B ad tech platform for the digital out of home suppliers, for the digital out of home screen owners. We have moved to a completely different field, done a couple of pivots, and got the product market fit, started to rent out those TVs, started to sell the software, not only in Singapore. That's a funny case, actually. And I'm saying here that we started to sell the software anywhere across the world. We started to sell our bundles, the rental bundles in 5 countries. And right now we do have 5 operational partners across the world. We do have our local Singapore partners who does the sales inside the countries and inside the Singapore country and across the Singapore. By the way, Singapore is like 60 islands or something, and it's if no one knows, it's somewhere between Indonesia and Malaysia. So Jack is doing it with us on those territories, and we have the mother company there and do the invoicing from the company, from the Singapore company. So what I was trying to say, that it was not a really chill time those years, as this curve shows, but at all times our Singapore incorporated company did not give us any point to worry. So we did not experience any problems. I mean, operational, cap table, whatever, tax, partnerships, all this stuff. We did not experience any problem on their side. We did not have to do anything, actually. And this is the most important for startup, that you don't need to have to pay attention to your corporate needs until something happens, because you have a lot of other things to do, and especially when you're at the down of this curve, when you're sometimes desperate, you don't want to think about what's happening in Singapore. Especially, you remember those COVID things. I think you have almost forgotten all of this. And as a matter of fact, we have opened the Singapore company in a few weeks after the pandemic started. So we have survived in the free pandemic sets. And of course, there was no chance to get into the Singapore at all. It was completely blocked. And we, of course, thought what's going to happen with the company or whatever, and nothing happened. So it's stable. The very short answer is this is a very stable jurisdiction. and the guys, they didn't even do the inflation for their pricing in terms of the corporate governance. I think that's it. All the rest we're gonna discuss in the chat room. Next question was about the sales. I'm the salesperson, and I'm originally, I was selling stuff for all my life. What I was going to say in this slide, that we are just to give you the idea what to whom do we sell. We sell software to the rabbits. I don't know whether you're familiar with this matrix, but it's a very cool matrix. The guy, the Christoph Jans, the partner of Point Nine Capital, he did the matrix, which shows how B2B SaaS companies, they can achieve the 100 million ARPA. And it's really funny and simple. He just divided all the B2B clients into 5 segments. And you see the whales here, the elephants, the deers, rabbits, and mice. And we do sell, right now, we do sell to the rabbits. Those are clients with the, let's say, around 1,000 average revenue per account yearly, annually. And what we are trying to do right now as a company is to move to the deers and to be able to sell to the guys with the IRPA around $10,000 per year. So, but anyway, we are selling to the rabbits. Those are really small B2B customers. And in order to succeed, you have to have a lot of them. This is obvious. And why is that connected to selling to APAC, to selling inside the Singapore, or actually anywhere else? And our main struggle and our main battle was to understand if we do sell to the rabbits worldwide, if we understand the general rabbits needs. I mean, the screens, they do have screens, they don't have screens, and they need to put something inside this screen. But if we do understand all of this, our main struggle, of course, was to understand, is it the same rabbit? I mean, is it the same rabbit, not only in exterior, but in the head, in the interior, in the decision making, in the behavior? And actually, I would say that we are still on that, because we did free attempts previously to get the traction inside the Asian Pacific region. We started from the Korea, we did some things with Indonesia, and besides of the fact that we are the Singaporean company. And we didn't get these rabbits, to be honest. We didn't get the decision-making process inside the Korean rabbits, and we didn't get the decision-making process inside the Indonesian rabbits. And nevertheless, we did get the European rabbits and US rabbits and all the other guys, and we started sales in other countries. And my answer to this question, how to understand, is it the same rabbits, or he does have something really personal attitude, the personal attitude to your product, to your offer? I will give you the example. We started our third attempt in the Singapore, our motherland, and we started with the offer of renting the bundles, the TV bundles, our app plus the TV, because we did receive a good traction in Europe. and it just didn't go. And it just didn't go. And I'm coming to the end of my solo presentation. The only guy who explained me why it did not go and explained me this particular Singapore rabbit hole was Jack. So my answer to the question how to succeed in the B2B sales, and actually this is also connected with the last slide, which I was asked to explain what is the must-have thing, what do you have to do to prepare yourself and your company to break into some other country's market, not your homeland. And I was really told actually the only answer before I got my own, that you have to reside. You have to reside where your market is. You have to reside where your clients is. And okay, and if I'm doing the international company, I need to reside in all the countries. No, there is no best case or any other. You just have to decide what's important for you. And in my case, I found actually regional partners which are like me or better than me in terms of product passion, the passion to what we are doing. We are doing the screens and the software for the screens. And we are really passionate in this. And those guys, the first thing they are passionate about our product, our mutual product. They want it to develop, they see the bugs, they use it. They use it as a customers. And the other thing which is important, was important for me, is that this guy has to be passionate about the sales and the customers. So product and the customers, and I found 5 those people in different regions, and I'm most proud that I found Jack, and he is my partner in the Singapore, and he is really passionate about the liquid product, and he's really passionate about the Singapore clients. He understands those rabbits, and this allows me not to reside in the Singapore or any other countries. And I think all the other kinds of the partnerships, they are like utility partnership, just a gas provider, or I don't know, financial provider. We have the rental providers. They are not about the real partnerships and real partnerships. In our case, they become mentorships and advisory. So he's advising me how to behave with the local rabbits. And this is what I'm proud of. And thanks a lot, Jack, for being with us. I am done, guys.
Great, Alex. Thank you so much for such a engaging, enlightening, and also amusing presentation.
Anybody sleeps? No.
No. Rabbits, they catch tension. So could I ask you to keep your leadership of the talk, and just let Jack in to discuss how you collaborated, how you met, how he's Jack, I'm addressing to you now.
Yes.
How your expertise met the like what Alex was looking for, how you evolved your partnership together, what kind of partnership it is. I guess that you're not business partners, right? You're like you're an advisor. So if I'm getting that right. And also, right, could you please explain how your own experience in building business in Singapore helped Alex, and just your because you're a local and you know the region, more than anyone. So yeah, right. Please. And Alex, please keep this dialogue because I'm sure that you can jump in and add something. So I'm not going to be like asking questions, interviewing you, but just please Tell us your story, your mutual story.
First of all,
Sure.
listen, Jack, I've never showed this presentation. I did it yesterday. I did not
Okay.
show it to you. You agree
Right.
with the things I said or no?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So thank you so much. Yeah, first and foremost to invite me to this, this webinar. Whatever Alex you mentioned, 100%, I'm with you with it, right? Maybe I'll just do a very, very quick introduction about myself so you guys would understand where I'm coming from. I live in Australia for 5 years. I live quite a long time in London. I live a really long time in Hong Kong, right? I hope you know where all these countries are. And finally, I went around the world and I still came back to Singapore, right? So to work with Alex, this is my fourth business venture. So the first one, I did a bit of a procurement, right? You buy things from China, import into Singapore. I did that for about 5 years. Then I run a restaurant in Melbourne for 2 years, okay? And then subsequently, I sold the business. I came back to Singapore 2018. I actually opened an education startup, a tech startup, right? Which I ran for about 4.5 years. And then because of COVID, I thought, look, I really want to solve problems that I'm really passionate about when I was in F&B, right? In the restaurant business. And that's whereby I think the stars aligned. I met Alex. We spoke a couple of times. Alex, you reached out to me saying that why not I become the local distributor. And I thought about it like, what, a week or maybe 2 weeks, and immediately I accepted it because that's a problem that really resonates with me. I love the product. Liquid is a fantastic product. And we are just really pushing out, trying to educate the market and things like that. Alex, you brought up a really good point. Where exactly is Singapore? Maybe I'll share a little bit. Yeah.
Listen, but it's true. I mean, everyone thinks that it's like a Atlantis city or something, or El Dorado made from gold.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Right. So I went everywhere else in the world, right? I live there. I understand the culture and stuff like that. That is a very common question that people come back to us and say, where exactly is Singapore? We heard about it. Is it part of China or something like that? So Singapore, in short, is a digitally super advanced country, right? It's the financial hub of the entire Asia. So most of the finance, like, your family offices, your venture capital, everything, all the finance related kind of services is all aggregated in Singapore. So it's very, very common to have companies incorporated here just for the ease of doing business, and those companies have never, ever come into Singapore before. It's merely for incorporation purpose, all right? So it's a very small country. So if you were to drive from one end to the next end, it's not even an hour. You'll reach the next end of Singapore in like 45 minutes, right? So just to let you understand a little bit. So yeah, I mean, in Australia, the state of Melbourne City, right, which is the smallest state in the entire Australia, you can put 100 Singapore into just one Melbourne City in Australia. So that shows how small we are as a country, right?
Yeah.
So
Jack, and I didn't tell to the audience that, and Nasty is actually the following up on your questions. Jack is not just the advisor; he's my active partner. And
yes.
what I was trying to explain in my presentation, that the best thing which can happen to you as the startup CEO or the project manager is that you find the partners dash advisor. It means that he teams up with you on the base of your product, of course, because he believes in it. He understands the need. He totally believes in it. And the other thing which he understands, that he knows about local rabbits a lot more than me. And that's the idea of the partnership. And after we team together, he becomes not just the partner, but the advisor. And speaking about the mentorship and advising to the business, these examples with the TV rentals and the software sales, Jack's his advice was, after trying and making what the general company is doing on the other market, he came up to us and said, to me, to another partners, and he came up and said that it's not applicable to Singapore. You remember, just and he gave the very clear answer about the local rabbits. Jack, no offense about the rabbits, because we do have another ones, the European rabbits and the US rabbits. I mean, he told us that, listen, my guys here, they just not used to rent, they want to own, and the ownership is not the economical idea. I mean, versus renting. Yeah, why do this Eastern people choose ownership, not the rental model?
Yeah,
it's
right.
Something in their heads. It's not like clearly understandable, correct?
100%. So it's a very cultural thing, right? Whereby it's a very Asian mentality, I would say. Look, I am westernized to a level. I understand how Westerners think, and I'm still culturally Asian, right? So the way that we tackle the Asian market, as I was advising Alex, is that it's not so much about, okay, for the liquid product, the way we do it is we package TV screens plus the software, and we go out to businesses and say, look, we are going to empower your business for the ease of doing, your digital screens and stuff like that. I do know a lot of high net worths in Singapore that owns a lot of businesses, so it's relatively easy for me to reach the large numbers. But the resistance here is when it comes to rental, right? So it's always like the landlord mindset and then the tenancy mindset. So unfortunately, there's only a few landlords in Singapore, I would say, and a lot of tenants. So landlord-wise, they are always looking for ownership, you see? So that's whereby we are facing the resistance. When we go up to these business owners, we say, look, rent the TVs from us, and we're gonna empower it with the software. And nobody actually really accepted it. I only got like one sale in the whole month, and simply because that is a very close friend of mine. He said, I'm not sure what you are doing. I'm just gonna pay you the money, just do it, you see? So he can't even be bothered, right?
Yeah.
So
he didn't bought it, actually. Yeah.
He didn't
bought it.
Yeah, he didn't buy the idea of it. He
didn't
bought
buy
our
that.
friendship, right? It's because of the friendship. So basically, in short, we came back with a few points. It's just cultural nuances, right? People would love to own, they don't like to rent, right? So that's one. Number two, Asian mindset. It's, although yes, generally in Singapore, people are pretty wealthy, we've got money, but once it comes into expenditure in businesses, they always, prefer to spend as little as possible. Of course, with every business, but especially so in Asia than any other countries, right? Now, number three, this is whereby it's a very cultural thing. It comes to discounts, every businesses, I mean, no matter how established they are, there's always a practice of having discounts. So
huge
it's just
discounts.
Exactly, huge discounts, right? So it gives them the illusion that we are doing them a favor. It's very much friendship, relationship building, as opposed to doing business. So this is how the Asian society functions, right? I mean, in Singapore, we don't practice tipping at all. So when you go and eat in a restaurant, you never tip the waiter, because that is not something in the culture, right? Whereas you go to the West, in America, you automatically mark up the bill by 10, 20% to give it as a tip. So in that same notion, if you translate that to doing business in Singapore, it's always, huge discounts, right? I'm gonna charge you $3,000, but then because you are a friend, maybe I'll charge you $1,000, for instance, right? So that's the strategy that if we want to do business in Asia in general, that's the guideline that we should follow, you see?
And this is, sorry to interrupt you, but this is the actual another advice which we were taught, and that's why we did the dynamic pricing in our app, and on our websites. We did the dynamic paywalls with dynamic pricing across the world, and we adjusted the discounts to the local market, and
right.
things are doing better now.
Yeah, much better, much better. So now when we go out to the market, people readily accept and want to listen to us now. And of course, and that brings me to my point number 4, right? It's the education of the market. With every new software, when we introduce into the market, it takes time for people to understand it. And then, word of mouth goes around and all. So the sales cycle, I would say, in the Asian context is pretty long, right? Because like I say, there's few landlords, right? The few decision maker, and there's a lot of workers. So we just have to ease our way, educating the market towards reaching the decision maker to say it's a yes, right? So there's only few very rich people, I would say, and a lot of workers in Singapore. So we are just trying to make our way there.
This is very important, actually, because I was not ever aware that the sales cycle is so huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
In the Europe or in the US is just like days or something.
Right.
And here is the really huge sales cycle, and you just didn't understand it remotely. What's happening there inside the sales cycle? I mean, you are building a very simple software, very simple app, like a Canva for the screens. You're like a creator. You think that everybody understands your app. Like it takes just 1 second to understand what is this app about and the values of this software.
Right.
Why do you need such a sales cycle?
Yeah. So it's just because the society is controlled by a few people and we are trying to reach them, right? So if we manage to establish that, then that's whereby we unlock the big numbers, you see? So that's what we are working towards too. And very often I would say, because we are so entrenched in a very traditional mindset that even, Asians, it still takes time to test a product. So the very strange things is like my personal connection. I know a few really, established restaurant chains, and they say, look, you know what? I've got 20 shops, right? Let's test on one screen before we empower the remaining 200 screens. So it's always this, trial. Give me trial, give me discount, let me test it. Because they're so used to working with their own style, they refuse to change for something it might be even better, cheaper, that save the cost and all. So it takes time, you see. So
listen, correct. And you remember the story, and these people are not convinced even by the examples. Like we have the huge customer, the Fat Burger chain, the franchise of the Fat Burger, which is let's say this is another Burger King, came from the US, and they have dozen of restaurants in the Singapore. And this example that all the thing works. I mean, you come and see everything works. It doesn't work for another clients. They have to understand by themselves that this is actually working.
That's right. So Fat Burger, they got 61 screens, and now we're trying to recontract them back into our system, you see. So it takes time. It is like a month now. So that's the kind of cycle that we are looking at. It's a very, very different, very dynamic country. I'm not saying that it's negative, but it's just the way the country works, the way tradition works here, right? So you just have to understand the way of life, how people do business. Is very, very relational. It's always about relationship. It's not about money. And I think that's whereby the longevity of the business works in Asia, So I'll give you an example. So if today I'm going to set up let's say a fruit shop, right? A smoothie joint. People will not come to my shop to drink the smoothie, to buy my food. They're coming to my shop because they know me, right? So that's the idea. If I'm not at the shop, they will not come and dine here, you see? So it's almost the mindset is like eating is a very primary thing, but we always want like the next level. It's a very like, noble kind of, it's like an idea. They're buying into ideology instead. I'm here as a friend. As a result, I'm supporting you. And that's the example I gave just now. One of my friends say, I'm not even sure what are you doing. Just take my money and just do it. It's because we cherish that relationship, you see. And that's how I closed that sale that should not have even be closed, So
Understood.
yeah.
Listen, I'm speaking about the advisors. What advice can you give to the audience in terms of finding their own? I think people are here to listen to how to find their own advisor locally, or find their own partner. How it works? How to find the guy?
To find the guy, I think number one, we have to give it to fate. Yeah, I mean, Alex, I got referred 4 times before I even, we got in touch, right? So a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and then that's how we got in touch. So yeah, I think number one, you
The fate. You have to have a good karma.
Yeah, very good karma, a lot of luck involved before you can meet an advisor that fits. Yeah,
maybe I don't know, maybe local events or something that works to establish this initial negotiation process.
Exactly. So at least in Singapore, Asian context, there's events like happening every day. It's especially so in Singapore because the government is just so supportive of startups, right? Incorporating a company takes like 1 day or maybe 3 hours. You can incorporate a company, right? If you are here in the local context, for us to just go to events, meet as many people as you are comfortable with, and of course establish the relationship from there. I think with doing any business everywhere in the world, having a local partner always works, right? To understand the social nuances, the dynamics, how people think, their own warm connections, and that's how business is done, right? I'm sure it's not just in Singapore, everywhere else in the world. There's different styles of doing business, and yeah, I think just generally be a good guy. I would say be a good person, right? If you're
but listen, how you recommend to track if this guy a good guy or what? Because when you're speaking at the event, everyone is a good guy. What are the questions maybe, or your suggestions how to define is that a good person to deal with, or just the scammer or something like this?
Yeah, true. So I think generally you would want to have a few meetings, right? Just to run through business philosophies, values and stuff like that. If that aligns, I think in general, of course, track record as well, you use that as a guidance, kind of like a guideline to gauge, right? Obviously, it's never going to be like day one things are going to go smoothly. It takes a while before it proves that your judgment is correct. So I think just have to be really patient,
Yeah, but honestly, I was checking your Kalpa story, and I was impressed of your previous Kalpa activity. And yes, I did search, and I did this interim period to understand. And it seems to me you did also, in terms of me and myself, to not even to get used to each other, but to understand that this person is the real partner, not the fake one.
Exactly. We are serious about, solving the problem and to roll out the solution to target the market, you see. So we are just serious about what we do. I think that's a very good starting point, right? And of course, the rest is up to chemistry and stuff like that, I would say.
Yeah, and to understand if the guy is serious, what you recommend, just to check his track of records, so to give him some ideas and to start some. Is it even in the culture to do some business straight away?
In Singapore, I don't think so, because people are very conservative in terms of like mindset and all. So I think it's always through warm connections that people will generally trust the other party, right? So if so and so says that you are an okay guy, then I think that gives that signals to you to say, okay, that might be a relationship there. But if you go out there in the market, somebody knows that they put out some red flags, automatically nobody will work with that guy. Yeah, very Asian kind of mindset. Yeah, it's always through warm connections here.
Listen, I just can't imagine how many warm connections you need to have to conquer Indonesia or Malaysia or any other of those countries. It's like 500 million people living there. I mean, it should be quite a huge network.
It's a huge, but it's always like, knowing the top people that can make the decision to put, work into the market, right? So I'm fortunate, I would say, because of, traveling around, maybe luck as well. I really bump into very, very influential people. Even back then in school, I studied in Melbourne Uni, one of the top finance school in the world. All my friends are like, a minister's son, ultra rich guy in Singapore sons and stuff like that. So I know them on a personal basis. And now that, we are doing business, it really helps when I, reach out to these connections.
And all of this, does it actually, you were speaking not about Singapore, I presume. You're speaking about the Indonesia and Malaysia and all the surroundings. I mean,
correct. The entire Asia, it behaves exactly the same. Right.
And how you guys connected to Malaysia? To just, I think I know how it works right now, thanks to you, but I think it's going to be interesting to the audience how you connected with all of the other region, because frankly speaking, Singapore itself, it's not a huge market, like a 4 million people, but it rules and finances all the other market around it.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. So well, I think the connections, number one, is because of my previous startup. I raised a lot of funding and all, I'm always there to meet like VCs and stuff. So I come very much from the capital side of things, right? And mostly, as I mentioned just now, the fund is actually based in Singapore, but the people governing the fund is actually overseas, you see, like in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in the Philippines and stuff like that. So all these are the connections that when established, and they always come back and say, hey, look, you're a good guy, we want to find some collaboration opportunities in future. And these are, where I establish all these networks.
So they, you say that they have those mother companies inside the Singapore, and they are based somewhere locally, like the. So those are like VC firms or.
Correct. PEs or family offices, right? A lot of investment firms are all based in Singapore. Like I'll give you an example. Like I know the top fund in Canada now, because my friend who I was trying to raise money on his fund is based here in Singapore, right? But he's running all the financial management for Canada, right? So same goes for Malaysia, Hong Kong, things like that. So for me to reach out to them and say, look, this is an opportunity that I truly believe in, is something to consider rolling out this solution in the market. At least they'll take me seriously. They will want to listen what I've got to say. And that's the starting point, right, towards entering the market.
Cool. Nastya, I think
yes,
we have covered everything.
Yes, amazing talk. Let me check if we've got, no. Okay, guys, please join us if you have any questions. Yeah, I guess we've got them. Alex, do you see the chat?
Yep.
Yeah, can you please answer the question? Or Jack, well, whoever of two of you.
Thanks, Dima. You mean the local VC funds or just the
I mean how locals treat like not locals companies, or like companies with founders from not local markets?
I will tell you my personal experience and I think Jack will add up on that. We were in, and now we are in constant communication with several VC firms, and a couple of days ago we were communicating with Jack with the top angel clubs, and of course it depends on what stage, what investing stage you are right now, and we are in the seed stage, so we are doing the seed work, and they are very open-minded. They are very friendly. They do not have a lot of stop points, like there are some things you can get from the European VC firms, like very strict frames. Those guys in Singapore, they do not have those strict frames. The only one, and Jack is correct, it was very strange for me. The only thing that they require in terms of you raising the money, apart from the unit economy, a part of all of this, you have to reside there, or you have to have this trusted partner there in order to keep those, relations. And right now, we did not raise money from the Singapore in the previous rounds. And right now, last week we started the investment rally, and we will for sure talk with the funds within next couple of months, and we'll see how it goes. But we are looking forward to raise money in Singapore this autumn. Jack, please add up on that, because you're the one, I think, in this conference who raised money in Singapore.
Right. So yeah, that's correct. So in my previous startup, I raised 4 rounds of funding for my own company. We got all the way to Series A, and yeah, in terms of raising money, Alex is 100% correct. VC funds are very friendly here. There's no judgment. If you are white, black, Asian, nobody cares. What they care about is the business idea, the unit economics and stuff like that. There's really no judgment in terms of the person, right? So yeah, almost all the funds that I speak to, they are all from like government fund across the world. There's Korean, there's Japanese funds. Yeah, they just invest, So I think if you are convincing enough as a model, generally every fund, every angel, PE, family office, they are all more than happy to listen and invest. Yeah, it's just like if you can show growth, you can show traction. I think that's king. All right. So back then for us, we grew our user base to 200,000 in 2.5 years. So I think that itself is compelling, right? So yeah, I mean, if you got a startup, growth is king.
Thank you very much. Could you give us an example how the pipeline of local VCs looks like? Like, is it price scoring, or are they used to like put you in an accelerator, or how it usually goes?
Oh, okay. So there's a lot. There's really so many incubators, accelerator firms in Singapore, but there's just so many different formats, right? You can go down the accelerator path to only eventually get invested, or you could just straight up get the investment. Like for me, when I don't even, yeah, maybe I will share how easy, I wouldn't say easy, but it is possible to raise funds without even having a product. So my previous startup is literally just a PowerPoint slide, right? All my ideas in there, my projections, what I thought of the landscape, and I managed to raise funds, you see. So it really depends on how you position yourself, how compelling your story is. But in terms of the different format, there's so many different accelerators here. Like, I mean, the international ones would be, what's that? Internet Entrepreneur First. They are also based here in Singapore. And there's another one that, yeah. So yeah, it really depends, right? What kind of format you want to raise funding for. I hope that
Okay,
answers
thank
your
you.
question.
So,
Yeah.
so
Sure.
it's better to find local partner, not an advisor, not a broker, but like a strict partner who will help you with the development of your business and also with like localization of your product here
exactly.
in terms of investor relations.
Exactly. That will substantially help in terms of fundraising as well as, going to market with your product.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
I think we also have a question from the chat from Vasily, who asks whether it's possible to find a business partner without visiting Singapore remotely. So what do you think?
Yes, 100%.
But
Alex,
that's our case, actually.
that's our case. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Vasily wants to know what is the best way to do this. But I think, Jack, we couldn't find the exact step-by-step answer for that. But I will summarize my part, and Jack, please follow on if you will. That I think that if you're in focus for that, and what means to be in focus for that, for me personally, I'm not persuading anyone to do anything, is to search for different solutions in the exact piece of land. Yes. So what I was doing for all the previous year, I was searching, apart from the fact that everything was in COVID. And the funny fact from the COVID period, that in the Asia, I think it was in Singapore actually, that they were not letting people drink in the bars. So you were only allowed to be alone in the bar, just like, you come in the bar, drink, and go out for 10 minutes. I think it was like maybe Malaysia or something. But apart from that there was a strict rule in terms of visits and COVID. I was searching for the clients, I was searching for the partners locally. I mean, I was investigating the VC market and the government opportunities for my company. And I was doing it not for the condensed period of time, but for the months. And somehow, I've talked to this person, to that person, I've communicated to this VC fund, to the major people in the angel community. They responded, and this ball started to roll. And this is the result of this ball being rolling.
Okay. So on my side of the story, it's so happened that my previous startup ended, and I want to solve the problems that I believe in, and I started doing research around in the space, right? So digital screen, cloud management system, and I was just likewise very similar to you, Alex. I was just really talking to people, reaching out to my network. Do you know any media people? Do you know anybody that have done this and stuff like that? So they link me up to very big one like JCD Cox, Falcon Media, Perfect Media, and stuff like that. And I think it's another Russian guy that said, look, why not you talk to this guy? And I think I got to Alex, one of your staff, and your staff, I think it's Sonia or something. So she did not reply, and I was very persistent because I really want to solve this problem. And eventually she replied and said, please speak to this guy. And that's how we got connected, right? So I was researching in that space, just trying to ask more questions. What have people done? What is the problem being resolved and stuff? And I think it's a very eventual thing that, we establish that relationship, that we are serious to want to do this, Yeah, that's my side of the story, if that makes sense.
Sure. Настя, I believe that there are no many questions.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks, guys, so much for your energy, your experience, your insights that you've shared, your expertise. Yeah, and
People started Googling Singapore, I think, just.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and actually this will be, this webinar will be, it is recorded and will be posted on the YouTube. So everyone else could hear it once again, and or hear it from, you know, who hasn't joined could join and hear it on demand. So yeah, hopefully everyone will be more into this Singapore vibe. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, я, можно перейду на русский для всех. Присоединяйтесь к нашим следующим вебинарам, программы на сайте, ждем вас. Спасибо.
Thanks a lot to everyone.
Hi.
Cheers and bye.
Hi. Say sorry. Bye. Bye. Thank you so much.